Running. Running might seem like a simple activity, something ordinary that many people take for granted. But imagine living in a place where even that small freedom feels impossible. Imagine growing up in a city where oppression shapes your reality. I'm truly honored to be here today. These few minutes, they are really precious for me. They will give me the chance to share a journey that's taken 30 years to shape, the journey that brought me here today. It is a journey shaped by war, pain, resilience, and dream for freedom. It is a story that shows how even the smallest dreams can transform our lives if we have the courage to pursue them. I was born in Baghdad, Iraq, a city of magical beauty, but also a city scarred by decades of war. It is a city of contrast and controversy, extreme in everything. The weather, intense. In the summer, it reaches up to 50 degrees Celsius when the sun feels like it's burning your skin and sinking deep into you. And in winter, on some nights, temperature drops to below zero when no amount of clothing can keep you warm, especially with electricity almost always out. People are either extremely, deeply religious and conservative, or completely against religion. Either poor or wealthy, either with a regime or against it. No middle ground, no balance. This was markedly confusing. For as long as I can remember, life was filled with violence, fear, and restrictions. And for females like me, there were layers of additional limitations imposed not only by the name of religion, but by power and tradition. As a child, I was highly energetic, ambitious, curious, and intelligent. Yet in that time and place, I felt if I had been born into the wrong time, place, and gender. Growing up as a female in Baghdad meant living with the least amount of freedom imaginable. For me, this was especially true. I wasn't allowed to participate in any activities due to my family's fear and desire to protect me. My struggle was even harder because I was different from everyone around me. I refused to follow these cultural norms and tradition, and this made my struggle, pain, and suffering even worse. In my early childhood, and for many years, I experienced physical abuse that left me powerless and angry. I was really angry. And as I grew older, sexual harassment became painful reality, adding more pain and more layers to my fear. It was battles. There were battles for dignity, for safety, and to gain control over my own life. My only escape was reading. Reading endlessly, searching for answers, explanations, and clarity for everything I was going through. And it helped. It opened my mind and it changed the way I thought, though I didn't realize it at the time. Those books created another world inside me. It was a world of beauty, of love, of kindness. Reading became my escape, gave me an escape, but it wasn't always enough. I needed freedom in the real world too. So I found another way. I cut my hair short. It changed how I looked on the surface. I became a boy. And for a while, that small change helped. It gave me the freedom to step outside even if only in front of our house, and play, though always within limits. It gave me this false sense of security, the illusion that no one could recognize me as a girl. But I was wrong, completely wrong. And in the midst of all the chaos, I held onto a dream, a simple one, to run freely and exist fully in my own body without fear. I wasn't entirely sure why this dream meant so much to me. Was it because I wanted to escape all the struggle, all the pain, all the suffering in my life? Or was it my way to freedom, to reclaim control over my body, to break free from all the limitations and just run boundlessly without anything holding me back? I didn't know for sure, but I held onto it. I held onto that dream because in it, I felt alive. I felt free. For me, the dream of freedom wasn't tied to running alone. It was tied to a place. My parents, they had spent their honeymoon in Sweden. And when I was 1 year old, they brought me there. I have no memories of that trip, but the photographs told me a story. I grew up studying those photos where my parents looked safe, happy, relaxed. They painted a picture of a country so different from the one I knew. Place of safety, serenity, and freedom. One day, I remember watching a program about natural disasters. They were talking about Doctors Without Borders, how these doctors went into the most dangerous places, helping people who had lost everything. Something clicked. I made a decision. I would become a doctor. I wrote it on a piece of paper and put it in the drawer of my black wardrobe. It wasn't just about helping people. It was about helping myself and finding a purpose beyond the chaos around me. And after almost a decade from the day I made my decision to become a doctor, I graduated from medical school. Those years were anything but easy. They were filled with hardships, uncertainty, and constant challenges, but I made it. I became a doctor. But of course, I wasn't allowed to join Doctors Without Borders. My family was too afraid to send their daughter into such a dangerous job. That same year, 2003, the invasion of Iraq happened, bringing more chaos to my city. Baghdad descended further into violence and instability. I can still remember the sound of the tanks rolling through the streets, their chains rattling in the darkness, breaking the silence and filling the air with fear. It became clear to me that the life I dreamed of could never exist there. I knew I had to leave. I embraced my dream of Sweden, the country that I had imagined so vividly for so long. For me, it wasn't just a dream. It was a promise I made to myself, a promise to create a better life. Leaving Baghdad wasn't easy. It meant stepping into the unknown, carrying nothing but my dreams and the hope that something better awaited me. My first stop was Jordan, a completely new environment, a different culture. There, I faced another chapter of traumas, different in nature, but no less painful. Yet, Each struggle made me more determined to do whatever it took to reach my dreams. And then, finally, the day came. The day I left Jordan and traveled to Sweden. It felt like huge relief. I was heading to my dream place, to my safe place, to my place of freedom. I still remember the moment my feet touched the streets of Sweden. I could finally breathe freely. The language was unfamiliar, the culture completely different. The faces around me were nothing like mine or my family's. It wasn't exactly the place I had imagined for so long. But this reality was even better. The forests were vast and serene. The streets were quiet and welcoming. And for the first time in my life, I felt a true sense of safety. I had to learn a completely foreign language and adapt to a new culture. But I embraced everything wholeheartedly because I was finally living my dream. Yet, even with all the hope and the excitement, starting over wasn't easy. It meant new challenges. So I faced countless challenges, learning the language, passing exams, finding a job as a doctor, and trying to make sense of everything around me. There were days of confusion and moments of doubt. Now, after years of perseverance, I found myself hesitating. My dream of running was still alive, but fear lingered. What if I wasn't ready? What if the dream I had carried for so long wasn't what I hoped it would be? And one evening, I decided it was time. It wasn't because the conditions were perfect. They were far from it. Temperature dropped to -20 degrees Celsius, the kind of cold that stings your face and makes the air feel sharp and uninviting. But something inside me had shifted. I changed my clothes, laced up my shoes, took a deep breath and stepped outside. The world was silent, covered in snow that sparkled under the street lights. My breath formed small clouds in the air as I started to walk. I slowly broke into jog. Each stride was more than just a physical movement. It was an act of defiance, of courage, of hope. I was crying and laughing at the same time. With every step, I feel tears of doubt and fear melting away. I didn't know what awaited me beyond that moment. But I knew this. I was no longer running from something. I was running towards something. But how is life now? Life is much better. Am I traumatized? Yes. Am I healed? Absolutely. I still carry these traumas, but they no longer control me. I see them, I understand them, I manage them. And that is the thing. Healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about learning to live alongside it without letting it define us. So these are the few things I've learned from my journey. Dream big, even if it feels small. Your dream doesn't have to be grand to be meaningful. Even the simplest dreams can transform your life if you have the courage to pursue them. Don't underestimate the power of daydreaming. It is not just an escape. It is a way to visualize the life you want to create. Whatever your dream is, simple, small, imperfect, just begin. Take the first step because this is the hardest. Your mindset shapes your reality. The greatest barriers are often the ones we create ourselves. Doubt, fear, and the weight of others' opinions can hold us back, but only if we let them. Appreciate the simple things. What seems or feels ordinary to you might be someone else's dream. Never take your freedoms or opportunities for granted. And finally, freedom is a choice. It's really a choice. The greatest freedom isn't found in the world around us. It is found within ourselves, one step at a time. Thank you so much.